Watergate scandal, interlocking political scandals of the management of U.S. President Richard M. Nixon that have been found out following the arrest of 5 burglars at Democratic National Committee DNC headquarters within the Watergate Workplace Rental Hotel Complex in Washington, D.C., on June 17, 1972. On August 9, 1974, going through possibly impeachment for his position in masking up the scandal, Nixon have become the best U.S. president to renounce. Early on June 17, 1972, police apprehended 5 burglars at the office of the DNC in the Watergate complicated. 4 of them previously had been active in significant intelligence company CIA activities towards Fidel Castro in Cuba. Even though regularly noted within the press as Cubans, handiest 3 of the 4 had been of Cuban history. The 5th, James W. McCord, Jr., changed into the safety chief of the committee to re-elect the president, later recognized popularly as CREEP, which was presided over by using John Mitchell, Nixon's former lawyer general. The arrest changed into stated inside the subsequent morning's Washington put up in an article written through Alfred E. Lewis, Carl Bernstein, and Bob Woodward, the latter 2 a pair of fantastically undistinguished young reporters relegated to unglamorous beats, Bernstein to roving insurance of Virginia politics and Woodward, nevertheless new to the publish, to masking minor criminal sports. Soon after, Woodward and Bernstein and Federal Bureau of Investigation FBI investigators diagnosed co-conspirators in the housebreaking, E. Howard Hunt, Jr., a former excessive rating CIA officer most effective recently appointed to the personnel of the White House, and G. Gordon Liddy, a former FBI agent operating as a counsel for CREEP. On the time of the damage in, Liddy were overseeing a comparable, even though uncompleted, attempt to interrupt into and surveil the headquarters of George S. McGovern, soon to turn out to be the Democratic nominee in the 1972 U.S. presidential election. All through the 1972 marketing campaign season, Woodward and Bernstein were fed leaks by way of a nameless supply they referred to as Deep Throat, who, only some 30 years later, became revealed to be FBI Deputy Director W. Mark Felt. Sister, they stored up a constant circulation of scoops demonstrating 1. the direct involvement of Nixon intimates in Watergate sports, 2. that the Watergate wiretapping and spoil-in have been financed through illegally laundered campaign contributions, and, in a blockbuster October 10 front web page article, 3. that the Watergate bugging incident stemmed from a massive marketing campaign of political spying and sabotage conducted on behalf of President Nixon's re-election and directed through officials of the White Residence, part of a fundamental approach of the Nixon re-election effort. However, the White Residence efficiently framed Woodward and Bernstein's reporting as the obsession of a unmarried liberal newspaper pursuing a vendetta towards the President of the US. Shortly before the election, CBS Information prepared a lengthy component television record synthesizing the scandal's rising ties to the White House. But, after the primary phase aired on October 27, Colson threatened CBS's president, William Paley, and the second segment was truncated. Newspapers that have been sympathetic to Nixon hardly ever mentioned Watergate at all. In an election eve Gallup ballot, respondents overwhelmingly said that they trusted Nixon greater than Democratic candidate McGovern. Nixon changed into re-elected in an ancient landslide, winning all but Massachusetts and the District of Columbia, and embarked on what gave the look to be a dynamic second time period. The trial of the 5 arrested burglars and 2 accomplices began in federal court less than 2 weeks earlier than Nixon's second-term inauguration. The exceedingly slim indictment on expenses of burglary, conspiracy, and violation of federal wiretapping laws itself spoke to the achievement of the White House in containing the scandal. The presiding decide, John J. Sirica, but kept badgering defendants and witnesses on topics now not blanketed in the indictment, particularly the monetary and institutional involvement of the White Residence and re-election campaign. On September 8, 1974, the brand new president, Gerald Ford, chose to provide Nixon a full and unconditional pardon for any crimes he might also have committed even as president. Ford had become VP in December 1973, after Nixon's previous vice president, Spiro T. Agnew, resigned amid accusations of monetary improprieties and pled no contest to a single, negotiated crook fee. By the point of the pardon, sufficient people had turned out to be convinced that Nixon, named by using the Watergate grand jury as an unindicted co-conspirator, become responsible of crimes, and that Ford had pardoned him as quid pro quo for turning into president, that the approval rating of the in any other case popular new president collapsed in a single day.